Mutombo, Patrick Ewing, Knicks control. Derek Harper coming off the outstanding game last night against Golden State. Anthony Mason now working on Bryant Stiff. And Harper trying to post up on Abdul Rauf. Here is Starks slicing through and handled by Oakley. Open shot for Starks. Well, last night John Starks got off to the quick start. 11 points over the first 3 minutes. Not able to hit on his first 2 shots. Marv Albert with John Andres, and we'll be keeping you posted on the proceedings at the WTA Tour Championship back at Madison Square Garden. We'll run down the conclusion. Abdul Rauf, who in the triple overtime win against the Suns in Phoenix on Wednesday had a sensational all-around game. 30 points and 20 assists, just shy of a Denver club record. And the foul is called on Abdul Rauf.
And the other night, Marv, as you mentioned, Wednesday, very big numbers for Abdul Rauf. 30 points, 20 assists in a dramatic win for them in 3 overtimes.
Mason. Stiff. Able to protect. And here is Abdul Rauf. Rebounded by Ellis. Dale Ellis in the starting lineup once again, with Jaylen Rose not starting the other night, not playing because of a sore throat. Starts off the steal. Oakley through the layup. And Charles hearing it from the crowd. Here is Ellis. So the Nuggets with a 4-0 lead.
It's hard to imagine that Charles blew that layup. I think, Marv, it was just lack of concentration on his part.
Harper to the spinning jump. Derek Harper, who has scored 20 plus in the last 5 games, scoring the first Knick field goal. Nuggets 4, Knicks 2. Here is Stiff. That was a 3-point attempt, chased down by Ewing. The Knicks come in with a record of 6-2. John Starks. So 5-4. Knick lead on the 3 by Starks.
Whenever the Eastern teams meet the West, it's always an interesting situation because they don't know each other that well. So the Nuggets aren't aware that when you leave John Starks open for the amount of time they have now on a couple of occasions, it's a good chance he's going to make one.
Timeout is called. We'll be back in a moment.
Point to go up 6-5 in the second set. He's already trailing 1 set to love. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Bob. Knicks with a 5-4 lead on the Nuggets here in the early moments of play.
A look at that missed layup by Charles Oakley. Looking at the basket, looking at it. Oh, he misjudged it totally.
This a new look Denver Nuggets squad. Gone the likes of Rodney Rogers, Brian Williams, Robert Pack. Pack traded to the Bullets. Basket counts in the foul. Mutombo, who had a very quiet game the other night, will go to the line. In fact, Dikembe Mutombo fouled out in that ball game.
Dikembe has not been the center of the offense over the last couple of years in any way. He gets what he can off the movement of the players around him.
So the Nuggets with a 7-5 lead.
A nice reaction by Ewing. He drew the double and the triple team and immediately found the open man.
Game is tied at 7. Abdul Rauf for 3.
He's so tough because of his ability to get that jump shot off quickly.
Ewing drawing the double team. Oakley shooting. Knicks with a 9-7 lead. Last night's game in Oakland, a victorious return for Don Nelson. The Knicks able to break it open in the second half, but they got off to the fast start in the first quarter, then cooled down in the second quarter. Here's Mutombo. And the game is tied at 9.
Well, that was Charles Oakley on Mutombo, so he could see over Charles, unlike the situation had Ewing been on him.
Mason got bottled up. Ewing for 3. And rebounded by Mutombo.
Well, Marv, you can see the strategy is to double team Mason. A lot of teams don't do that, but they are doing it now, and that's going to force reactions.
Beautiful pass for the rookie Antonio McDyess, set up by Abdul Rauf. So the Nuggets up by 2. Ewing with the screen and then gets it back. Open shot for Starks. Yes. 3-pointer for John Starks. That's his second of this first quarter.
Seems that the Nuggets are favoring Ewing and Mason with the double teams and leaving Starks open.
Last night, John Starks 4 of 5 from downtown. Mutombo off to a very fast start. Not noted for his offensive moves, but hitting his shots and getting good shots here in the first quarter. Nuggets lead by 1. Oakley given the room and hits a 3. Charles Oakley from downtown, and the Knicks are up 15-13. 6:50 to go in this first quarter. And a leg block has been called right here. Let's check in with Bob Page.
Marv, this is a double set point at the... We'll go to a third and deciding set. Back to you.
Art, Bob, and as we come back, Dale Ellis is able to knock down a 3, and the Nuggets now lead 16-15.
Tough matchup for Starks. Ellis at 6'7", and Starks was all over him.
Harper, yes, a 3-pointer for Derek Harper. So it's an 18-16 Knick lead. And here's Stiff. He's turned back by Ewing. Stiff on the recovery. Brian Stiff able to hang in, and he's tied the game at 18.
Stiff is a very determined player. That kind of effort was on display the other night in that triple overtime game against Phoenix.
Second foul on Abdul Rauf. Substitution, Tom Hammonds getting set to check in.
Tom Hammonds now in for the Nuggets.
And Antonio McDyess will sit down. The other night in that triple overtime, McDyess with a sensational first half. Finished with 17 points, 16 rebounds. Well, the Knicks now lead 2018.
Patrick Ewing given a lot of room by his very close personal friend, Mutombo.
Well, the hot shooting continues, and the game is tied at 20.
That matchup's got to concern Don Nelson. Ellis will shoot freely over the much shorter John Starks.
Starks rebounded by Mutombo. Game is tied at 20 with 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Oakley from straight away. Charles is now 3 of 4 from the field. He has 7 points, and the Knicks are up by 2.
Just a perfect response by both Mason and Oakley.
And a loose ball foul against the Knicks. It is on Oakley. So for Charles, his second foul. The Knicks on the road have won 4 of their first 5. They lost on the first stop of the strip in Portland on Tuesday night. Stiff took that long step with the first dribble, and Mason on the rebound. Starks to the left hand, beautifully done by John Starks. So John with 8 points, and the Knicks are up 24-20.
That's a rarely seen execution by John with that left hand.
Matchup continues with Oakley against Mutombo. Ellis forcing, and here's it from the crowd. Hopper back for Ewing, and Patrick Ewing very casually hits the jump shot. So the Knicks now lead by 6.
It's such an easier life for Ewing when he can hang around the foul line and get wide open shots like that instead of getting beat up in the paint.
10-0 run by the Knicks last 3.5 minutes. Nice pass, Mutombo to the cutting Stiff. And the Knicks lead is now 4 as we come up on 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Ewing facing the double team. Shot clock at 7. Ewing. And the rebound one-handed by Mason. Looking to put a move on Hammonds. Starks pass intercepted by Stiff. And here is Ellis. That was a 3-point attempt. Tip was missed by Mutombo. Hopper on the drive. And he was blocked. Crowd here wanted a charge called against Derek. Timeout is called. The Knicks lead by 4.
The Maglite flashlight is a work of art that works. A Maglite flashlight is the brilliant gift idea for any occasion.
They're now tied at 1-1. Marv.
All right, Bob, as we resume, 2:27 remaining in the first quarter. The Knicks with a 26-22 lead. At one stretch, they reeled off 10 consecutive points. And Derek Hopper, who was fouled in the act, will shoot 2.
Derek coming off a night last night where he was perfect from the foul line, 7 of 7. You look at Derek's numbers this season. Second highest scoring per game on an average basis of his career, now in his 13th season. From the foul line and from the field, he's shooting well.
Easily his best stretch as a New York Knicks. Charles Smith has come on for the Knicks. Reggie Williams on the floor for the first time for the Nuggets. Hammonds posting up on Smith. Hopper and Starks in the backcourt. Hopper goes the lane and was affected by Mutombo, although Hopper thought he was fouled. This is Jaylen Rose dribbling into the crowd. Rose making his return after sitting out the other night. Williams. Reggie Williams, a Georgetown teammate of Patrick Ewing in his 9th NBA season, and it cuts it to a 3-point Knick lead.
Reggie having a lot of trouble with his shooting, currently at 31% from the field.
And Reggie drawing the matchup with Anthony Mason. Mason's pass deflected, but Knicks able to keep it alive. Ewing for 3. Patrick Ewing from way out. And that is his first 3-pointer of the season. The Knicks now lead by 6.
That was borderline the old range for the 3-point shot.
Hammonds recovery with 1 minute to go in this first quarter. That'll be a backcourt violation. The Knicks are now 5 of 7 from downtown. Again, let's check in with Bob Page.
Back to the third set of the women's tennis match.
Out of Virginia, set back by injuries his first couple of years. We're down to 15 seconds in the quarter. Final seconds. Harper pushing it to Smith, who drew the foul.
Harper given the freedom to make all the decisions. The Knicks left that middle wide open.
21.
And he is moving with such vigor. You know, the surprising thing, Marv, tonight is to see Harper so sharp so early. His legs look as lively as they've had. Looked all season long. The Knicks, after the big game last night at Golden State, Harper shining in the second half, and a very late night. The Knicks flew here to Denver, got to bed probably around 4, at least 4 in the morning, and Harper is as lively as he's looked.
Now Derek will sit down. Charlie Ward and Gary Grant check in. Patrick Ewing also departs, 7 points. Ewing along with 5 rebounds. 1 second, and that'll do it. So after 1 here in Denver, the Knicks lead the Nuggets 31-26.
Final call.
We've got to move fast, Kirby. I hope you booked Hertz.
Not exactly, but this company's fast.
As fast as Hertz #1 club goal?
Not exactly, but they do have a special place to pick up the car.
Like Hertz?
Not exactly, but it'll be waiting.
Under a canopy? With the keys in it?
Not exactly.
And protected from the weather?
Not exactly.
In Rent-A-Car, there's Hertz and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
Counting on that promotion, Kirby?
No, not exactly.
Ah!
In business, you can't always count on having enough time.
Brought to you in part by Toyota. I love what you do for me. Toyota. By MetLife. Get Met. It pays. And by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz.
Bob Page back at the Garden again. Sabatini serve.
Welcome back to McNichols in Denver. The Knicks with a 31-26 lead as the second quarter gets underway. Don McLean is on the floor for the first time for the Nuggets. Mutombo now being guarded by Ewing with some help on the double team from Grant. Reggie Williams. McLean and Ewing on the collision, and a foul called on Patrick Ewing. This is the first of 2 meetings this season between the Knicks and the Nuggets. As you take a look at McLean and Ewing coming together, the Nuggets have beaten the Knicks 8 of the past 11 games played here in Denver. Last season, though, the Knicks won here and in New York. They won by 20 at the Garden. Worst loss of the season for Bernie Bickerstaff. Nice pass from Mutombo. And the Knicks claiming that the win was tough. Don Nelson out on the court complaining to the 2 officials, the replacement officials, Roy Gobert, Lionel Yates. But the basket counts. Knicks very upset. The felt could not have been a basket. Beautifully done. Starks finding Smith. Knicks felt there should have been basket interference called. Or offensive interference. Don McLean, who was acquired in the deal involving Robert Pack, Doug Overton. Don McLean coming over from the Washington Bullets.
Playing a great score if he can get his hands on the ball with this high-scoring team.
Ewing. Well, Patrick Ewing with 9 points, and the Knicks lead by 5.
Mutombo seems to refuse to accept that Patrick can hit those shots.
Mutombo pitching it back out. And here is Williams. Grant. Starks with Rose back. Grant passed on the open shot. Oh, what a pass to Ewing, and he was blocked. Mutombo enjoyed that one. He leads the NBA in rejections. Able to come up with a block on his good friend Patrick Ewing. Williams brings the Nuggets within 3.
Mutombo excels in that department as he has the last couple of years while leading the league in block shots.
Grant to the crossover. Rose did play and gave him a shot. Gary Grant continues to play very well and very solid defensively.
See how he fought over that intended pick by Mutombo as well.
We're talking with Ernie Grunfeld, the Knicks general manager, last night about Gary Grant, who has been a good pickup. And Ernie's pointing out as Mutombo goes astray on that outside attempt that Grant seems to change the tempo of the game because of his intensity. And he has done that for the Knicks. He's just so happy to be with a winning ball club after spending time with the LA Clippers. And now Starks on the break. 3-on-2. Grant. And ends up in the backcourt and out of bounds. So the ball will go back to Denver. We'll check in again with Bob Page.
Marv here at the Garden. WT. 4-1. Back to you.
All right, back at McNichols Arena on the follow. Mutombo is able to convert, and the Knicks now lead 37-34.
Mutombo, not the usual passive, or I should say passive offensive player that the Knicks have seen in the last couple of years. He's having a strong first half.
4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Tip missed by Smith on the shot by Grant. Abdi Raouf back on the floor, departed after picking up his second foul, and he is being guarded by Grant.
Mason.
Starks. John Starks with the steal. Starks for 3. Well, the Knicks have gone cold. Smith on the rebound, getting it over to Ewing. Knicks lead 39-34.
Marv, you can see any extra pass that the Knicks make on offense is getting them a wide open jump shot.
It's a Denver team that last year finished at 41-41, 4th in the Midwest Division in the playoffs. Lost in the first round of San Antonio. Swept in 3. Bernie Bickerstaff taking over for Gene Littles. What a bad shot. Dikembe Mutombo hooking from the foul line. But it leads to a foul against the Knicks, a loose ball foul. And now Doug Christie comes on, replacing Anthony Mason. Foul was called on Starks.
Beautiful hook shot by Mutombo as he works his way to the basket, knowing he has Patrick Ewing on him. You can see the value of the hook shot in that you can get it off without obstruction.
But not a good judgment on a shot like that, Tim. It's a beautiful hook shot in terms of the form, but he took it from the free throw line. And the foul is called. Foul on Grant. Mutombo's offensive moves are still very clumsy. I don't see any real progress that he's made. I mean, obviously there's other value that he has, but he's a guy that has not developed offensively.
I don't think they've invited him to and have gone to him in their offense. They've not considered him that important either.
Hubert Davis, who just checked in. Shot clock down to 2. Davis, yes, a 3 for Hubert Davis, and the Knicks open up an 8-point lead. Doug Christie getting some early playing time. Timeout is called by Bernie Bickerstaff.
Wilson's incredible under 20.
Foul on Davis. Ryan Stitt. Mutombo back on the floor. Dyson Hammonds sitting down. A lot of shuffling by Bernie Bickerstaff. Bernie Bickerstaff also the president general manager of the team. Last year directed that dramatic turnaround that put the Nuggets in the playoffs for the second straight year. Took over for interim coach Gene Littles, who had taken over for Dan Issel. Tumbo, wild hook shot again, and rebounded by Oakley.
He's complaining. He thought he was fouled. That's a kind of shot, though, that rush shot, that the player almost doesn't deserve the call. He rushed it up so quickly.
Shot clock down to 6. Smith, and he drew the foul. Foul on Ellis.
See, so much of the Don Nelson offense allows Knicks players to go one-on-one, as 3 players will go to one side of the court. The ball will stay on the other side of the court, and the man can operate. It gives everybody a sense of importance in that they can do their own thing from time to time as they come down court. Mason gets that call. Certainly Ewing does. Certainly Starks does. And then Charles Smith now as well.
Knicks with a particularly strong night at the free throw line last night. 32 of 38. 26 of 27 in the second half. And they now lead by 10. Illegal defense, the call. And that is the warning, the first such call on the Knicks. Don Nelson said last night in his return to the Bay Area, coming up with that decisive win over his former club, the Warriors, that he did not have butterflies, but he was nervous. Don was warmly received.
Sure, now he says next day.
McClain way off on that deep three-point attack. Christie fires it down, broken up by Abdul Rauf.
Don Nelson demonstrates to Christie by putting his hands down as if to say, slow it down. You don't have to throw the big pass all the time.
Smith being played by McClain. Shoots over him. Charles Smith, who comes off a good game last night against the Warriors, and again doing it without the face mask, which he discarded 3 games back. Despite the fractured nose, too much of a distraction, so he shed it. Ellis, rebound by Oakley, and he is 1 and 2 by McClain. Once again, let's check in at the MSG Sports Desk. Bob Page. On McClain. Knicks are going with Grant and Davis in the backcourt. Smith, Oakley, and Christie up front. 8-0 run by the Knicks. They had 10 straight points at one stretch in the first quarter. Smith tried the reverse, kept alive by Christie.
Charles was hoping to draw the foul on that.
And here is Christie for Smith. Beautiful pass. Doug Christie playing well. This is the best we have seen him this season. Been a short stint, but he has been right smack in the middle of this 10-0 burst. And the Knicks are off the bench to greet Doug Christie as a 20-second timeout is called by the Nuggets.
Quick pass back. Christie penetrating, seeing he doesn't have a good shot, and instead of forcing it, he gives it up to the open Charles Smith. Another look at it now. Grant with that confident behind the back pass. And Charles Smith doesn't have to dribble. He just goes right up for the shot.
Well, this is the finale of the 3-game Western road trip. The Knicks will be back at Madison Square Garden Sunday night. Face the Vancouver Grizzlies, making their first Madison Square Garden appearance, bringing back former Knick Greg Anthony in the Grizzly colors.
They won their first 2 games, but it's been losses ever since, 6 to be exact.
8 o'clock start on Sunday night. Knicks game night at 7:30. And it will be Nick Ball. Bernie Bickerstaff continues to shuffle. Jaylen Rose is back. Don McClain will sit down. The Knicks have opened up a 14-point lead with 4 minutes to go. First half.
Rose, an outstanding defender. Bernie wants to get him back on the court. He missed it last dramatic game.
Davis won't count. 3-second violation. There was some
Just
set out. The Phoenix game now.
Grant Hill takes it inside. They call the block. Utah on the run. Hill is on the floor. And keep
and Stiff will go to the foul line. Brian Stiff, whose shooting continues to improve, although he's not a long-range threat, averaged 11 points per game last season. Very important player. So solid fundamentally. Very important to this franchise.
Remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser.
Knicks lead 48-36. And again, the Knicks able to swing the ball effectively. Smith not able to hit the reverse, and Stiff able to come away with it. Here's Ellis. Three-pointer for Dale Ellis.
He is the all-time NBA three-point shooter. He's made more than anyone else.
Timeout is taken by the Knicks.
I'd have to say Larry.
To a $200 rebate when you buy.
Ogden with 6 seconds left. Blaylock, a three. It's over. The Heat win it.
Top, as we just mentioned, Reggie Miller next.
Shot clock down to 6. Christie with a quick move around Mutombo. We are seeing the best of Doug Christie as a New York Knick.
And it's so nice to see his teammates enjoying this fine moment.
The Knicks lead by 11. 2.5 remaining in the first half. Marv Albert, John Andres from Denver. Christie got a piece of it, but the good recovery by Williams. Reggie Williams bringing the Nuggets within 9.
Lamar, we've seen a nice penetration and pass by Christie. Now the dunk and a jump shot, and he could be our post-game guest.
I know that is exactly what is on his mind. Christie actually would be a fresh face. And a foul on Oakley.
Christie posting up down low and working around Mutombo at that speed. Oh, what a good feeling that must have been.
Doug Christie, as we were discussing last night, did not have a strong preseason. Much more was expected because he's the type of guy that fits right into the patterns of Don Nelson. Last year he was coming back from injury after coming over from the Los Angeles Lakers. And then he was, it's a 3-second violation. He was out of the rotation. But Don going with him last night for a couple of minutes. Hit a shot, 1 for 2 from the field, and using him early in this first half. And he's played well. Here's Davis for 3. Gilbert Davis with a second from three-point land. And the Knicks 7 of 10 from downtown. They now lead by 12. Minute 35 to go in the half. Stiff not able to play that pass that sailed wild. Knicks going with a smaller lineup. Oakley and Mason are the big men, and they have Grant with Davis and Christie. And away from the ball, Williams called for the foul. And is hit with a technical. Reggie Williams right in the face of the official. And he He's called for a technical foul.
Well, he was yelling at the official, and the official did the right thing.
Roy Gobert with the tee on Reggie Williams, and Hubert Davis not able to take advantage.
Well, after the league and the officials met yesterday, it appears with no agreement in sight that the NBA will go to a third official early in December, the first week of December.
Mason drawing the double team. And here's Davis for three. Hubert Davis again, and the Knicks now lead 56-41.
There is so much double teaming by Denver. The Knicks are invited every time to make the extra pass, and assuredly there will be an open shooter.
Well, Hubert Davis is 3 of 3 from downtown. He has 9 points. And the Knicks are 8 of 11 from three-point land. So Jaylen Rose to the line, a 74% free throw shooter last year. In his second year out of Michigan. As a rookie last season, the shooting inconsistent, average about 8 points per game. But a guy who handles the ball well for a big man. So dangerous in the open court. But at times has been used as a point guard, and you wonder if he can do it at point guard on a regular basis.
That's what Denver's been wondering. They've actually thought about bringing Abdul-Rauf off the bench and letting Rose as a big man point guard be a terrific defender. But that hasn't worked because Abdul-Rauf's skills are so important.
Davis to the drive, but Tumbo. As to say, McDyess slapped it away, and Mason on the recovery. Davis with the follow. The Knicks controlling the boards. And the Nuggets are hearing the boos from the crowd. Denver has gone smaller, looking to match up with the Knicks. And the Knicks have opened up a 16-point lead. McDyess, Antonio McDyess. Denver's first round draft pick, the second selection overall. Rookie from Alabama, able to hit.
Barb, I'm waiting for a vertical leap demonstration by McDyess, who supposedly has a leap similar to what David Thompson had here when he played in Denver.
Traveling violation gives it back to the Nuggets. 1 6/10 seconds to go in the first half. And here's McDyess firing. Good first half for the Knicks. They lead the Nuggets here in Denver, 58-44.
Detroit's ball, and the Pistons are without a field goal in half of this fourth quarter. 6 minutes have elapsed, and now Stockton and Malone are back in for Utah. All 5 of the Detroit points in the fourth period have come from the free throw line, and Detroit has attempted only 5 field goals in 6 minutes. Hill looking for Houston off a curl, and Hornacek is right in his face with 10 on the shot clock. Down inside to Thorpe. There's the double team.
Oh, my.
Oh, Christmas Carol.
That was a strong move by Thorpe. We've been saying this so much during the second half. They can get this anytime they want because Carr always plays behind Thorpe. Now there's a strong triple team. 3 guys got him with an axe, okay, and then put him down on the floor.
Thorpe goes to the free throw line, shooting 72% this year on the game. Otis Thorpe with 8 points.
Otis Thorpe and a long line of power forwards out of Providence. He was drafted in 1984, the 9th pick in the draft by Kansas City. Played Kansas City 1 year, 3 years at Sacramento, and then with Houston.
4-point Jazz lead with 5:46 to go. The Jazz in the penalty. Detroit still with a foul to give here. Stockton and Malone back in with Hornacek and Twan Carr. Here's Hornacek, gets past Houston. Look at the tip, but it was missed by Keith. Here comes Grant Hill. He has no field goals in this half. Dumars. The veteran has it stripped by Malone. That's 4 strips by Malone in this game tonight. Don't take it in the paint. Now Malone posted down. I see Thorpe. He had Mark West backed right under the basket.
He was just so smart. You can tell he improved his score. He backed Mark West right into the paint. Bob received the pass and then just took it strong to the rim. This is just, feeding the guy when he calls for the ball. And once he gets down in there, there's nothing you can do about it.
Talk about the power on the block. Malone was literally on the block that time. At the line now, 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals. All have come in the paint on strips for somebody before they got a chance to get a shot away. And Malone misses from the line. Grant Hill on the bench for Detroit now with 5:12 to go in the ball game. Lindsey Hunter on the court with Joe Dumars. Mark West, Otis Thorpe for Detroit. Malone missed them both. Foster on the floor for Utah.
Don't you think? Nets getting hammered early on. Armin Gilliam turns it over. Scottie Pippen ahead to Ron Harper, who jams it home. 29-19 Chicago. They were up 30 quarter, where Chris Childs tries to keep the Nets in it. Great drive, throws it up and in. He led New Jersey with 10 at halftime. Nets trailed by 9 at the intermission. Pippen had 12 lead all scorers. Harper and Jordan each 9 first-half points. But here's a great line from today's transaction wire. Florida Beach Dogs of the CBA signed center Manute Bol. The Connecticut Pride signed Sparta, New Jersey native Chris Gent, the former Ohio.
Look at this crossover now. Michael trying to play topside, but the ability to find somebody after you beat your guy, you got to have your head up, be alert, and the spacing that time extraordinary as Edwards gave him room a little too far for the defense to run to cover the jumper.
It's like an NBA fantasy to go around Michael Jordan and score the bucket.
That is fantastic.
Chris Childs living out.
Toward the net, knocked down by Darren Quinn. He was hooked down. Interesting to watch the Jets with Quint and Doan. 2 rookies on the ice at the same time. Isn't it? Offside was whistled. Darren Quinn.
Some of our announcers' clothing is furnished by
lead at the half. 53% shooting first half. Knicks with a very solid effort as we check out the leading scores. 11 apiece for Ewing and Davis. 9 for Smith. Starks with 8. Oakley with 7. Knicks doing it from downtown.
It's all even. I'll tell you, Gaston is a real positive player who comes off that bench and has given them good, solid minutes both here tonight and also against Manhattan when he had 11 points.
Down with 10 points, Mutombo with 9, and Stith and Williams with 8 apiece. And John, it's obvious that with the Knicks playing last night in Golden State, and as you discussed earlier, getting in the wee hours this morning, Don Nelson trying to use more people, and it's paid off because he has received good efforts from Hubert Davis and from Doug Christie in the first half.
Yes, Mark, 22 of the team's 58 first half points have come off the bench. I think what's most impressive too is that the Knicks have come to play this game tonight after a tough trip, as you were just alluding to. A lot of times you'll hear teams say after a disappointing performance they weren't ready mentally. The Knicks are ready tonight, and I think that's a great compliment to Don and his team.
Meanwhile, the Nuggets have been hearing it from the crowd here in the first half. Let's take a look at some of the highlights in that first half.
Oh, behind the back pass from Grant to Christie to Charles Smith, and Charles went up for that short jump shot. The Knicks have been taking advantage of wide open shots with the extra passes. How about this sparkling move by Doug Christie in the slam dunk over Mutombo? That gave him and his teammates quite a lift. And Hubert Davis on the drive also. Notice how the Knicks stay alive, seeking the loose basketball. Mason gets it, drives to the basket, and out of the back court comes Hubert Davis for the beautiful finish, and that really deflated the Denver Nuggets.
Davis 4 of 6 from the field, 3 three-pointers. Christie with 3 assists in that first half. The Knicks with 18 assists in the half. Second of the game.
Now Detroit has a timeout and a 20.
And is brought to you in part by Mobile Super Plus Detergent Gasoline. Mobile, how could we help you? By the New York Times, read what you like. And by Coca-Cola, always jammin', always Coca-Cola.
Bob Page with another up.
As this third quarter gets underway, the Knicks 53% from the field in the first half. Nuggets 45%. McDyess spinning his way on Ewing. And the rebound is taken by Stiff. Knicks felt he walked. Abdul Rauf for Ellis. McDyess, Mutombo, and Stiff on the floor for Bernie Bickerstaff's Nuggets. McDyess lost it off his foot.
Specifically, we began to think.
Here is Stiff. And a loose ball foul is called. It's on Oakley.
Take a look at our Toyota matchup of the first half. Ewing and Mutombo played pretty even, you might say, almost identical with the output, rebounding, and points.
Charles Oakley called for his third foul. Back comes Starks. Ewing with Mason and Oakley up front. Starks and Harper at the guards. Starks for 3. Ellis for 3. On the boards in the first half, decisive edge for the Knicks, 24-15. They had the advantage over the Warriors last night. Prior to that, they were out-rebounded 5 straight games, and that is a point that got.
Had won 3 in a row. They lose this one, and let's go to Craig Sager.
Well, with the addition of Chris Morris, Jeff Hornacek comes off the bench instead of starting. A lot of people would say that's a lesser role. You proved tonight you're just as valuable at 20 points.
Well, you know, we got a great team. We got guys who can play every position, and Chris gives us some height at the 2 guard. When I come off the bench, it's usually either backup. Pretty well.
Best team you've been on so far, do you think?
I think so. From guys 1 to 12, you know, every guy can play, even the guys that don't get a chance.
On Starks. Don McClain checking back in, replacing Antonio McDyess. The intensity on the part of the Nuggets far different than what was seen in that triple overtime game in Phoenix. Suns had beaten the Nuggets 14 straight in Phoenix prior to Wednesday night, and they did it by an average of more than 20 points per game. John, the last time Denver went to triple overtime was December of '83. They were involved in the highest scoring game in the history of the NBA, 186-184, a loss to the Pistons.
But you're right, Marv. They do seem deflated, and they're not playing with the high energy necessary to overtake the Knicks at this point anyway.
Mason with the recovery. Barkley, yes. And the Knicks now lead, I should say Oakley with the shot. I was just about, John, not to deflect, I was about to say that Charles Barkley said he would rather get beat by 100 points than lose a triple overtime game. That'd be a nice trade, though.
Well, I think that the Knicks, Charles, would be very honored to hear of the mistake you just made, Mark.
And a foul on Stiff. For Stiff, his first. 2.5 gone by in the third quarter, and the Knicks lead by 14. Starks. John Starks extends to a 16-point Knick lead.
There is not an individual commitment to defense by the Denver Nuggets. They're trying to play team defense with all that double teaming, but that little deception on the end of that move by Starks got him wide open.
Starks on the steal. Nuggets 64-46, and the Nuggets want a timeout. And again, you can hear the reaction from the crowd. It counts. Mason from Oakley to the ball. And here are the Knicks again on the run. Starks from Mason. Yes, and it counts. Mason from Starks, and Mason to the line. Substitution, Randy Woods will come on for Abdul Rauf.
Well, just to show you how the intensity hasn't been there in the first half, the Knicks only took 7 foul shots, and Mason now is making his debut at the line tonight.
So Anthony Mason completing the three-point play. He has 5 points for the night. Fouls called on Harper. Randy Woods making his first appearance of the game. A one-time L.A. Clipper, teammate of Gary Grant. Came to Denver in an off-season deal in his 4th year out of LaSalle. And it's Ellis with a rare bucket for the Nuggets. Knicks now lead 67-48.
When you look at the Denver Nuggets numbers this season, they say that their first quarter has been their most effective, and the third quarter has been their least effective quarter, and that's just what's happening here tonight.
Well, on the tumble, the Knicks had that 40-point third quarter last night, and 33 in the fourth. Knicks going with their starting lineup. Starks and Harper at the guards. Ewing, Mason, Oakley up front, but Don Nelson has them shuffling. Offensive foul on Harper.
Randy Woods at 6 feet, and he was victimized by Harper, who took him low.
Harper and Woods going chest to chest. Harper was upset, pointing at Woods. Harper trying to steal from Woods. Harper involved and there's a foul on Harper. It was involved last night with Tim Hardaway, and Woods just indicated that's your second foul and going up against me. Recall last night Hardaway pointed to the bench directing Derek, who had picked up a third, but then in the second half Derek just ate up Tim Hardaway.
And as Derek backpedals to the bench now for a rest, he has a lot to say also.
I was asking Derek about it prior to the game tonight. I said Tim is really a very nice guy, but enjoys trying to upset his opponents. McClain, and a loose ball foul is called. Not that Harper hasn't talked upon occasion. Foul was called on Mason. But there's great respect between the two. It's just one of those nights where Harper was able to blaze through the second half following the scoreless first half.
And Coach Don Nelson has to be delighted at Hardaway's motivating tactics, because it certainly worked.
So Harper sitting down. Grant has checked in. Grant and Starks now in the backcourt. Dikembe Mutombo, who is only a 64% free throw shooter. Rebounded by Woods. McClain foul. And he'll go to the line. Reggie Williams checking back in.
We'd like you to remember, when you're having good times with good friends, drink responsibly, because friends know when to say when. A reminder from your friends at Budweiser.
And now the Nuggets having their troubles at the line. The 6 for 10 overall. McClain is a 74% free throw shooter. Don McClain last year set back by a sore knee and a fractured right thumb. Knocked him out of 43 games, and his scoring average dropped down to 11 per game. 2 years ago, he averaged 18 and was voted the NBA's most improved player.
Also came close to wearing the Celtic uniform this year. Much talked about trade, just never took place, obviously, but it came close.
Over the top of the backboard, and the Nuggets will get it back. 5 minutes gone by in this third quarter. The Knicks 67 and the Nuggets 49. Ellis on the quick release. And Oakley with another rebound. Number 8 for Charles. Last touch by Ellis. The Knicks come in with a record of 6-2. Second place, a game behind Orlando in the Atlantic Division. While Denver at 1-6. They lost their first 6, then won in the triple overtime in Phoenix the other night. Knicks continue to swing the ball, looking for the better shot. Ewing, Patrick Ewing going glass on the runner. And the Knicks now lead by 20.
You know, Mark, the more you look at Denver tonight anyway, the more you have to feel, see the dominance for the Knicks, plus 10 rebounds, that if they had a Derek Harper or even a Gary Grant in their backcourt, this team would be possibly a lot better. They just are lacking leadership, someone to pull them together and encourage them to take good shots.
Foul on Starks, his 4th. Tumble will sit down, and Dice is back. Well, this is a particularly poor effort by the Nuggets, and the Knicks have certainly had something to do with that. Abdul Rauf, who is so brilliant with the 30 points and 20 assists in Phoenix, has not played well here tonight. In his 19 minutes, only 1 of 6 from the field, just 2 points. 20 assists, incidentally, the other night was only 3 short of a Nuggets team record. Fat Lever and Larry Brown each had 23 in one game. Reggie Williams, that's a 3 for Reggie. Larry Brown did it when Denver was in the ABA. Timeout is taken by Don Nelson. 16-point Knick lead.
It's late at night. Do you know where your children are? Keep in touch.
Construction of Delta faucets are right for you.
Starks recaptures. Leads Ewing. Ewing with the catch, and he draws the foul. Foul called on Ellis.
Ewing wanted that slam dunk badly. He looked at John Starks, acknowledged the nice pass. He was disappointed, but he goes to the line. Ewing on a side jump shot a moment ago as well. Oakley, who competes for a loose basketball as well as anybody. Grant, fortunately for the Knicks, deflected that intended pass for a fast break, and when all is said and done, Ewing drew the foul.
Ewing is on the line for the first time. Derek Harper back, placing John Starks. 12 points for Starks. Also have 4 fouls. Charles Smith getting set. Check back in. The Knicks 70. The Nuggets 53. Rose being played by Grant. Ellis. It counts, and the foul. Patrick Ewing picking up his second.
It looked like there was a very indecisive offense moving out here until finally Ellis saw the opening and finished with a beautiful drive.
Dale Ellis in his 13th NBA season. 35 years old, a guy who has made many stops along the way. Dallas, Seattle, Milwaukee, San Antonio, Denver. He, in effect, has been a hired gun. As you mentioned earlier, one of the NBA's all-time long-range shooters. And number 1 in league history in three-pointers made. 72-55 now. The Knicks by 17. With just under 5 minutes left in the third. McClain, he's been off. Mason with the rebound. Wayne is 1 of 6.
Dice is the big man out there for Denver now.
Smith going at McClain and tied up. Good play by Williams coming over to help.
Charles Smith did not go to the left hand, and as a result couldn't get the shot up to draw the foul.
Knicks have maintained the hot shooting, 54% for the game. Toss it again. Not a good throw. And once again, Reggie Williams and Charles Smith. A couple of former L.A. Clippers, John. They are everywhere. Randy Woods, Gary Grant, Reggie Williams, Charles Smith.
They're everywhere but with the Clippers. Although the Clippers are hot these days. They've won 3 in a row.
They are an improved ball club. Once again, going for the hat trick. Bad toss. Lionel Yates having trouble here with a flip, to the amusement of Don Nelson. When you're up by 17, it is amusing. And now controlled by Denver.
Don has a funny way of expressing his being amused, Bob, you know?
Well, he didn't like that last toss. It will count, and the foul.
Beautiful drive by Reggie Williams. Charles Smith trying to draw the offensive foul. He didn't succeed.
Instead, that number 2 on Smith. 3-point play for Reggie Williams. And the Nuggets chipping away. It's now a 14-point Knick lead. We come up on 4 minutes remaining, third quarter. Harper, 3-point attempt. Rebounded by Rose.
Fans here sensing a little something. They're coming to life a bit.
Reggie Williams lost it. Grant for 3. Gary Grant from downtown. And the Knicks at a 9 of 14 with a 3-point shot. A 3 for Williams. So Reggie Williams with the answer to the 3 by Gary Grant. Knicks 75, Nuggets 61. And the crowd trying to get back into it. Booing the Nuggets on several occasions tonight. Harper, yes, a 3 for Derek Harper. He now has 9 points. And the Knicks 10 of 15 from downtown. That is their high in that department this season.
Any patience gets the Knicks good shots.
The Knicks back up to a 17-point lead with just under 3 in the third. Foul is called. Look out, Harper and Ellis going at each other. Derek Harper being ushered aside by the official, Lionel Yates. Gary Grant trying to calm him down.
The players have to realize this kind of behavior gets very, very expensive. And fortunately, it didn't go any further. Dice working his way inside. Harper getting pushed aside. He was manhandled by Ellis. Harper was trying to block out Ellis.
Double technical called. They were teammates once upon a time with the Dallas Mavericks.
Have a look at the physical play with the attempted box out by Derek Harper. From Ellis's standpoint, he was driven off the court.
And now the officials trying to sort it out. A double technical called. And the question is, who is in possession. And the discussion continues. Well, they continue to jaw with each other.
Yeah, when he turn around, you go wrong on the shot.
And the official over to the scorer's table now. Lionel Yates with the explanation for Bernie Bickerstaff.
Who had the ball?
We're not certain what the discussion is about here.
Okay.
Mark, now it's time for the MCS Cannon court book. Hey, listen to this.
I killed the play because of the double foul I had underneath.
And appropriately, Dikembe Mutombo recently on the referee's labor situation. The NBA needs to replace the replacements, was his soft way to state the obvious as what's been going on in the NBA these days. MCS Cannon, let us show you the possibilities.
John, you know, there's no question about the difference in quality about the officials between the regular officials and the replacement officials, but Dikembe Mutombo and many of these other players who are complaining about these guys also complain when the regulars are handling things, although obviously we'd rather see the regular guys back.
Well, it's not normal that new people like the replacements could come in and reflect the great confidence that the experienced NBA guys do when they make calls. And sensing that, the players of today, sensing their slight indecision or their lack of strength in many of their calls, jump all over them. And that makes them hesitate. The refs, you know, enjoy this exposure and the work, certainly. And the players seek weakness, and they jump all over the officials.
Don Nelson saying, jump it up. But this was a Denver possession, and a loose ball foul away from the ball apparently was being called, and then the situation developed between Harper, and you can see Don Nelson is extremely upset.
He's boxing out Bernie too.
Well, this is a ridiculous episode because they have to come to some kind of conclusion here.
The conclusion can be a jump ball. I mean, you can't just keep talking and talking. You got to keep the game moving here.
Apparently, the ruling is double technical, and the ball will be inbounded by Denver. Here's another look at it. There you see Ellis and Harper going at each other. You know, it's not clear. Was Harper hit with a personal on a loose ball foul?
There was no indication of that, Mark, just a double technical.
Well, if that is the case, it should be a Nuggets ball on the side, and I don't know why the long discussion developed. And apparently also a question about the shot clock. 8 on the 24. Now we do resume with just under 3 to go in the third. Ellis looking for the shot. And it's a 24-second violation. So the Knicks get it back there, up by 17 points, 78-61. Had a couple of interesting games going with Hardaway last night, and tonight Randy Woods earlier, and now Dale Ellis.
Smith almost with the tip in. He had excellent position.
Oakley on the switch playing Ellis. Here's McClain for 3, and he continues to struggle. Now to 2 minutes left in the third. Grant with a strong move. Gary Grant with his 3rd field goal. He has 7 points along with 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Grant looking for the steal on Williams. And the foul called. Foul on Grant.
I can't get over how Bernie Bickerstaff, Nuggets coach, has forgotten about high-scoring Abdul Rauf tonight. Only played 12 minutes of the first half. Gary Grant a moment ago with a beautiful drive, and big people came over to bother him, but he had the speed.
I don't know if he's forgotten about him. I think he may be down on him.
Well, I'll tell you, Mark,
did not play well here.
After you think, though, after that performance the other night in Phoenix, what an inspiring performance. He played 56 of potential 63 minutes in that triple overtime. 30 points, 20 assists.
80-62. Knicks with the lead. Minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Knicks trying to make it 2 out of 3 on this Western trip. Illegal defense, which is not appreciated by the Knicks bench. That's the second violation and a technical foul. Ellis will shoot the tee. Mentioned tomorrow night. Denver's next game in Houston. The Rockets off to the 6-1 start. How about Robert Horry? 40 points, career high. Last night, one night after giving Houston the win over Toronto with that 3-point shot at the buzzer, his only field goal of the game. Clyde Drexler last night out with a bruised knee. So Horry lifted his offense stiff. And the Nuggets now down by 16.
Knicks will have the benefit of a visit from Houston Saturday after Thanksgiving, a week from tomorrow.
Illegal defense now called the other way against the Nuggets. And that is their first violation. Bickerstaff with assistant coach Gene Littles. The other member of his staff, the man they call the Nuggets Prime Minister of Defense, the veteran Bob Kloppenberg.
Gene Littles was the coach for a while after Dan Issel retired last year, and then Bernie came in after Gene Littles. They have great loyalty. There's Bob Kloppenberg on the left.
Spent close to 4 decades in coaching, the last 11 with Seattle. Ran to the line, fouled by Rose. Bob Kloppenberg, a great believer in doing it with switching defenses, trying to get the Nuggets going in that department.
Bob looked like a real NBA coach who's behind in the game. He was talking to himself, Mark, if you noticed it.
Something you can relate to.
Absolutely.
The Knicks 82, the Nuggets 64. Third quarter winding down. Williams rebounded by Mason, who took a good shot from Williams. Half minute left in the third.
A little heat between those two.
Pass broken up. McDyess. McDyess had it batted away. Don Nelson says slow it down. Hold for a final shot. 10 seconds remaining in the quarter. Down to 5. Ran off the dribble. Did not have the shot. Time runs out. So the Knicks not able to take advantage of that final possession. After 3, they lead Denver 82-64.
Road wins.
Help me out here.
Knicks have led by as many as 21. Fourth quarter getting underway. Hubert Davis is back. And on the turnover, the ball back to Denver. Knicks with Oakley, Mason, And Smith on the front line. Davis and Hopper in the backcourt. Jaylen Rose handling for Denver. Abdul Rauf is back on the floor. He played only 19 minutes. Hopefully with the rebound. To Charles, number 10. Hopper guarded by Abdul Rauf. As they isolate. Oakley. Rose on the pull-up. And foul. Foul on Mason. Anthony Mason, his third personal.
Well, following tonight, the Knicks will jet home after this game. Get ready for Vancouver on Sunday.
Yes, the Grizzlies making their first Madison Square Garden appearance. Greg Anthony, former Knick, on that Vancouver roster. Next game night at 7:30. The Knicks play at Cleveland on Wednesday. That'll be an MSG 2-game. Cavaliers won a game tonight. Cleveland Cavaliers beating the 76ers 114-82. I know the Czar will be sleeping a little bit better. The Cavs 0-7 prior to the win over Philly tonight. Knicks by 17 with a minute gone by in the fourth. Mutombo with the rebound. Also note tonight, Miami over Atlanta, 91-88. Three-pointer. Abdul Rauf, who has been very quiet. That is only his second field goal. And it brings Denver within 14. The Raptors beating Minnesota 114-96. Utah over Detroit 86-81. 12 on the shot clock for the Knicks. A lot of their second win. They are 2-7. The steal by Williams. Reggie Williams caught the Knicks relaxing. They did not get back. It's only a 12-point lead. And the Knicks call for time with 10:25 left in the fourth.
That will happen to Mason quite often. He was planted down low waiting for that pass.
The Nuggets off to the good start here in the fourth quarter. Blocking foul.
This is the man to watch now for Denver. Abdul Rauf, 5 points, a long way from his 24 a game, which is 10th in the NBA at this moment.
Nice pass from Mutombo. Beautiful backdoor pass. Mutombo to Williams. It's down to 10. Ewing and Mutombo battling for position. Ewing, nice fake. Mutombo went for it and committed the foul, his third.
Give and go play. Mutombo to the cutting Williams. Hubert Davis will take 5 laps around the arena for letting that happen. He let his man get in front of him, caught looking at the ball.
Patrick Ewing 1 of 2 up the line. He has 14 points. Gary Grant being buzzed in, replacing Hubert Davis. Good night for Hubert, 11 points in his 9 minutes of play. So the Knicks now lead by 12, and the Nuggets take a timeout. 9:35 remaining, fourth quarter.
You have the perfect shot, the perfect moment, but the flash doesn't go off. Next time, use Energizer brand batteries from Nobody Beats the Wiz.
Save me! Save me! Save me!
Where it costs no more to go first class.
Back in Denver, Marv Albert with John Andres. 9.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Knicks with an 84-72 lead on the Denver Nuggets. Stiff, played by Mason. Mutombo and Ewing battling for that ball. And Harper pushing down. Harper going all the way, went to the left hand and was rejected. Abdul-Rauf brings it back. This is Rose. Stopped by Grant, and they will regroup. Rose posting up. Ewing came over to alter that shot. Mutombo draws the foul. So Dikembe Mutombo to the line. Don Nelson very upset about that call. He felt there was a foul on Mutombo before he was fouled.
This has been a very active game for Don Nelson working the sideline.
Mutombo not a good free throw shooter, and 1 for 3 this evening.
Mutombo now in his 5th season. Enjoyed the honor last year of being named the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of that, of course, because of his terrific shot blocking ability. He led the league in that category for the last 2 years.
Also last year, he was second in rebounding to Dennis Rodman. And hits both free throws. 10-point Nick lead.
He's also leading the league in shot blocks this year as well.
Ewing to the spinning jump shot. Ellis for 3. It is down to a 7-point Nick lead.
Well, the Knicks open the door, and Denver is charging now, so the Knicks have to re-energize themselves.
Knicks at one stretch led by 21 points. Ewing. Patrick Ewing getting the roll. He has 16.
What a sweet move by Ewing with that fake.
But the Knicks only their second field goal in this fourth quarter. Abdul-Rauf. Stiff with the hustle rebound. Rejected by Ewing. Denver looking for a goaltend. Shot clock at 8. Not a good pass from Mason. Able to recover. Down to 3. Starks has to fire and hits. What a shot by John Starks. Able to pick up that bouncing ball and in one motion took the shot from 3-point land and is greeted enthusiastically back on the Knicks sideline as the Nuggets took a 20-second timeout.
John very happy, although his coach is more concerned about what's going on and what he wants them to do next. Take a look at Stith, who worked very hard to get that offensive rebound. He was looking for a goaltend. Ewing with his block. And Starks with a remarkable recovery on that ball that was at his ankles. How he came right up and hit that shot without very much time to look at the basket is something else.
Was that a 2 or a 3? Looked like Starks had the foot on the line. in a game of 3. All right. Knicks lead by 12. Mutombo, wild shot. Mutombo. Knicks want a 24-second violation. But won't get that call. A foul. Foul on Ewing. And Mutombo to the line. He is 3 of 5 at the line.
Well, here's the history of the meetings between Mutombo and Ewing, both Georgetown products. Patrick now in his 11th year. Mutombo is 5th year. Ewing has him in the scoring department. And the wins. Patrick's teams have won 6 of 8.
Ellis not able to hit the 3. Williams on the follow. So the Nuggets get 3 points out of that sequence. And the Knicks now lead by 9.
Mason had a glance in the direction of his teammates as if to say, who's responsible? Who let Williams in here?
Grant, yes. Knicks lead 91-80. 11 points for Grant. Grant getting the playing time tonight, 23 minutes. 6 minutes to go in the 4th. Mutombo, Knicks do not mind seeing Mutombo take the baseline jumper. .5:45 left in the 4th. 11-point Knicks lead. Grant played on the switch, gets it over to Ewing. Ewing had to take the shot. 24 seconds, down to 3. Williams to the reverse. Beautiful play by Reggie Williams with Patrick Ewing in his path. Was able to drive past the basket and hit on the reverse.
Reggie's really come to life in this game. He's had a slow start this season, but he looks tough tonight.
91-82 Knicks. And Grant's pass out of bounds. Had nowhere to go, and the pass too strong. Mutombo now departing. McLean checks back in. Harry Grant will sit down. Hoffer and Starks now in the backcourt. Mason, Oakley, Ewing up front. Abdul-Rauf changed his mind. Good play by Abdul-Rauf, but Stiff not able to convert. Ewing for Oakley. Fouled by Stiff. And Oakley staring at Stiff. And not like the hard foul.
I'll tell you, any coach in the NBA would love Brian Stiff. He plays hard. He is tough. Just like Oakley. A terrific competitor. Boy, he's up there. Doesn't matter if he's surrounded by 7-footers. He's right up there with them.
Stiff has played well. This is 3rd straight start, averaging 19 a game. The last 2.
He is 6'5", but plays a lot bigger.
Oakley on the line for the first time. Had a 9 of 11 last night at Golden State. Knicks lead 92-82. 4 minutes, 41 seconds to go in the 4th quarter. Knicks at one point led by as many as 21. Denver with a good start here in the 4th quarter. Able to cut into that Knicks lead, but now the Knicks lead by 11. And the Nuggets take a timeout. We'll be back at McNichols in Denver in a moment.
Hard.
19 points for Reggie Williams after 8 in the first half. Knicks 93 and the Nuggets 82. McLean. Well, McLean 1 for his previous 6. Able to hit that baseline jump shot. Nuggets with 2 timeouts left. The Knicks with 3 and a 20. And the Knicks with a 9-point lead.
McLean now guarding Ewing. Knicks are looking inside. They sense the advantage.
McLean at 6'10", 225 pounds. But that is a major advantage to the Knicks. However, a 3-second violation is called on Harper. Abdul Rauf being played by Derek Harper. Ewing on a switch, stepping out. Illegal defense, the call. And a technical foul awarded. Denver. Abdul Rauf, who leads the NBA in free throw shooting. He's 21 for 21. This is his first appearance at the line tonight. Knicks 93, the Nuggets 85.
Harper's done a great job on Abdul Rauf tonight.
And a foul is called on the Knicks. Don Ewing, that is 4th. And the Knicks are over the limit. So a man who is automatic at the line will shoot 2.
Last year, Mark, to relive a very nice memory for the Knicks, although it was tense. Abdul Rauf fouled by Derek Harper in the closing minutes of the game. Sent Abdul Rauf to the line. He made 3 foul shots. The Knicks were down. Then Harper in the last minute of the game, moments later, made a steal, blocked a shot, scored 5 points for the Knicks in the closing minutes to become the hero of that game. What dramatics that had.
And the Nuggets have closed within 6 with 3:35 remaining in the 4th. Oakley from Ewing. Beautiful pass from Ewing. He and Oakley read each other so well. 95-87, Knicks by 8. Abdul Rauf. Kept alive by Ellis. Some confusion there between Mason and Ewing. Did not go for it. Beautiful pass to set up Stiff.
Ewing complaining Stiff pushed him.
The Knicks by 6. Down to 3 minutes remaining in the 4th. Ewing now guarded by Ellis with help. Finds the open man. Starks. Yes, it's a 3 for John Starks. He has 18 points. And the Knicks lead 98-89. And the foul looks to be against Denver. No indication on the, apparently it's on Stiff. It is called on Ryan Stiff. Well, the Knicks back to the offense. Shot clock at 9. Ewing. That was a 3-point attempt. A wild shot by Patrick Ewing.
He's had success from that range tonight, but that was a rush.
There's Steph spinning his way and draws the foul. Foul on Mason. That is his 5th. And Steph to the line. He is 4 of 4 at the line. Knicks have done it with the 3-point shot tonight. They are 12 for 19 from downtown. John Starks hitting 4 of 7 from 3-point land. Hubert Davis 3 of 4. Knicks 98, Nuggets 91. We come up on 2 minutes remaining in the 4th. Grant able to pop it ahead from Mason. Bench counting off the shot clock. It's down to 4. Harper for 3. Knicks lead by 7. Nuggets with the ball. Minute 35 to go in the fourth quarter. The high step by Abdul Rauf. And a traveling violation on Dikembe Mutombo. Timeout called by Denver. So now apparently a change of heart. No timeout. It was waved off. Denver still with 2 timeouts remaining. 1:25 left in the fourth quarter. Very close to a backcourt violation. Almost stepped on that midcourt line. Here Starks. Ewing. Yes. Clutch shot by Patrick Ewing with the shot clock running down. The Knicks by 9, and now the Nuggets call for time.
During the week, National rents cars to companies all over America. But weekends business gets a little tame, so they send the cars here to Grays. That's a bum steer. So National's got low weekend rates that'll make people want to hit the road. Now, every
Let's take a look now at a cult classic play, and we'll go back to a year ago when the Knicks visited Denver. Closing moments of the game last March. Same matchup, Abdul Rauf in control. Harper strips him of the basketball. Length of the court and the layup. Big play. That had followed Harper fouling Abdul Rauf, sending him to the line. And then Abdul Rauf responded by making 3 fouls. Tonight, Harper on the drive, getting that ball out to Starks, who finds Patrick Ewing ready and waiting and able to deliver that jumper.
Minute 9 remaining in the fourth quarter. Knicks now lead by 9 points. Denver looking for a quick shot, and they get it. Not able to hit. Abdul Rauf coming up short. Mason with the rebound. Don Nelson wants to spread the floor, wants to slow it down, use as much of the 24 as possible. But Mason was open, and the Knicks take advantage. The basket counts and the foul. Beautiful pass from Grant, and Mason to the line.
However, there is no question that Gary Grant has come in and delivered a lot more than anyone could have expected. However, he wouldn't have unless Don Nelson had confidence to put him on the floor, so it's worked both ways.
3-point play from Mason, who's had another excellent all-around game. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Stick getting inside. 103-93 Knicks. 45 seconds remaining in the fourth. Pressure being shown by the Nuggets. And again, the Knicks trying to spread it out. Starks pass ends up on the Denver bench. Down to 32 seconds in the fourth quarter. Here's Stiff putting on moves and fouled by Davis. And the clock is stopped with 24 and 7/10 seconds remaining. Once again, good shooting night for the Knicks. 39 of 75, 52%. 12 of 20 from downtown. The 12 3-point field goals, one off the all-time Knick record. They hit 13 against Golden State last January. 103-94. Starks able to elude McClain. And the foul given. Reggie Williams.
stately.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The best of show? More?
Game at now 52%.
Starks missing on both. lost it. Final seconds. Knicks just run it out, and they make it 2 out of 3 on the Western swing, as they have defeated the Nuggets 103 to 94. So back-to-back victories over Golden State. And Denver, after the loss to Portland on Tuesday night, that opened up this road swing. And the Knicks now with a record of 7-2 and off to a terrific start of the new coach, Don Nelson. We'll be back to wrap it in a moment. For Don Nelson and his ball club. Knicks with 12 from downtown. John Starks hitting 12 of 20 from three-point land. Once again, let's check in with Bob Page at the MSG Sports Desk.
Thank you, Marv. If somehow you haven't heard yet, a mistrial was officially declared.
Chat the other day with Marv Albert about your shape, and he referred to your remark that you were in treadmill shape. Now that was a little over dramatic, wasn't it? You're looking pretty good shape. How do you feel now?
Well, I'm pretty good. You know, they've been working me hard every day in practice, and you know, on my off days I still go in there and get some running and stuff in. But it's coming along a great deal. I think you know, when you're not playing 5-on-5 in the summertime and you're just trying to work out where you won't get injured and things like that, treadmill work is probably not the thing to do.
The difference in your career now, your 7 years with the Clippers, now with the Knicks, was this a big shock to you to end up wearing a Knicks uniform?
Well, it is. You know, I had about 4 or 5 teams that I was talking to this summer. But I was just waiting for the right team, and I think New York is a great place to be. You know, it's a veteran team. I can learn a lot from Derek Harper. Me and Charlie Ward both can learn a lot from Derek Harper. And this is an experienced team, and I like to go to a team that wins a lot of games and have an opportunity to win the championship.
Gary, you're playing, as Ernie Grunfeld was telling us last night, with great energy. Is that how you would characterize your contribution to the Knicks?
I think so. They don't really need me to score at all. I think the bottom line is just to come out and play hard defense, try to cause a little havoc when I'm guarding the point guards or the 2 guard and try to get them out of their flow. We have great scores out of Patrick Ewing and down the line. So my job is just to come in and give a little energy and have fun.
So far, so good for you. Gary, we appreciate the visit. Continued good luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you, John, and hi to all my people back home if you got sound like.
Okay, let's go back now to Marv Albert.
Great. All right, John, yes, they're checking out Gary Grant on the satellite dish, and a very strong performance for Gary. The Knicks over the Nuggets 103 to 94. We have much more to come. A look at the individual scoring, the stats. We'll hear from Knicks coach.
Before in turn, trading him to
back at the Garden. The Knicks will take on the Vancouver Grizzlies. That'll be Sunday night. 8 o'clock start. Next game night at 7:30. Our next Knicks telecast here on MSG. The post-game report coming up. Marv Albert with John Andres. We'll be back in a moment, back here at McNichols in Denver.
The New York Knicks post-game report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
We welcome you back to Denver, Colorado. Marv Albert with John Andres. Moments ago, the Knicks defeated the Denver Nuggets 103 to 94. And once again, the Knicks with a very strong shooting performance, 52%. We are seeing that more and more. And Don Nelson has to be just delighted with what took place the last two nights.
Yes, the team didn't have any down spells. Denver made a move, but the Knicks had enough answers for that. And Marv, also, the Knicks had 8 meaningful scorers out there tonight. A lot of help off the bench.
Denver, on the other hand, has gone to 1-7. The Knicks now at 7-2, only a half game behind Orlando. The Magic did not play tonight. And as you mentioned, the Knicks getting the balance and developing a bench. Also, I thought of significance. We talked quite a bit about Gary Grant before we wrapped up the game portion, but a guy like Doug Christie came off the bench and contributed for the first time in terms of meaningful minutes as a New York Knick.
Yes, it was a good lift for him and the team at that particular moment. I think, too, when Don Nelson looks over the final numbers of the game, he'll be very pleased with the number 30 assists in the game. And there's a habit now of the Knicks moving that ball well to the open man, and it's beginning to take on a momentum of its own, which is only going to make them tougher and more effective.
All right, a lot of action around the NBA and the NHL tonight. Bob Page standing by at the MSG Sports Desk to bring you up to date. Let's check in with Bob.
Thanks once more, Marv. We begin, first of all, with the highlights of tonight's victory over the Denver Nuggets. They're never easy on the road in the NBA, but I guess this came just about as close to a gimme as you ever get. As Marv indicated a couple moments ago, Bernie Bickerstaff in Denver came into this one 1-6, now 1-7. He stared in disbelief here as John Starks fed Charles Oakley, who blew a wide-open layup in the opening quarter. Don Nelson saw Oak come right back, though. A few minutes later, he hits a three-pointer. Oakley with 15 points on the night, and New York was on top 15-7. Now late in the opening stanza, it's Patrick Ewing hitting a three-pointer from straight away as the shot clock winds down. 30-24 Knicks. They led by 5 going into the second quarter. Doug Christie starting to get some minutes, playing pretty well. Christie spins on Dikembe Mutombo and dunks over the big guy. 51-39 Knicks. Wild sequence here. Hubert Davis' layup is blocked by rookie Antonio McDyess. Anthony Mason gets the rebound and misses, and then Davis finally hits the follow. 56-41 Knicks, and they led 58-44 at halftime over Bickerstaff and company. To the third quarter, where John Starks picks off a pass, goes in alone for the dunk. Knicks never really in trouble, and what do you know? Some New York fans see the Mets hat there in the stands on hand. 64-46. Fourth quarter, Nuggets did come back. Dale Ellis drills a three-pointer, as is his wont. 84-77. But then John Starks beats the 24-second clock, drills a tray of his own. He had 18 points on the night, and the Knicks lead was back to 12 at 89-77. The Nuggets cut the lead back to 7, 98-91, until Starks fed Ewing for a big jumper from the side. His 20 points led the Knicks tonight. New York goes up 100-91 there. They coasted from there and won it. Reggie Williams led all scorers with 27 points. As far as the Nets go, they played at Chicago tonight with kind of an expected result, wouldn't you say? They never really were in the ball game, and the Bulls wound up winning it handily, 109-94. Soon to be beleaguered Butch, 3-4 now out of the gate. Nets got hammered early in this one. Armin Gilliam turns it over. Scottie Pippen down to Ron Harper at jams. Bulls were up 36-25 going into the second quarter, where Chris Childs, playing for the injured Kenny Anderson, tried to keep the Nets in it. Great play here. He led New Jersey with 10.5, but Phil Jackson and the Bulls were up by 9 at intermission. To the third quarter, where Scottie Pippen drills a bank shot. He had 18 points through 3 quarters, didn't score again. Bulls on top 83-69, part of a 16-5 run that ended the third. Chicago led 85-72 going into the fourth quarter, where Queens native Vern Fleming drives down the lane. Nice play. He had 14 points, as did Jason, to lead the Nets. Bulls lead there was still 14, and now Tony Kukoc makes the steal. Then the save ahead to Jordan, who dunks for 2 of his 18 points. Kukoc led the Bulls tonight with 19. Now the others in the NBA, Pat Riley and the Miami Heat won at Atlanta. Big night for Alonzo, as you see, 23 points, 13 rebounds to go with 7 blocks, nearly a triple-double, and that ended the Atlanta Hawks' 4-game win streak. The Boston Celtics got a good performance from Eric Montross, led wire to wire, and defeated the Bullets tonight 110-102. How awful are the Philadelphia 76ers? You believe that score? How could they be blown out at home 32 points to a Cleveland Cavalier team that hadn't won a game this year? The Cavs were 0-7 coming into this one, but won 114-82. How about Toronto, which snapped a 7-game losing streak, winning 114-96? Good performance by Antoine Stoudemire, Damon Stoudemire, I should say, and J.R. Ryder had 30 points to pace Minnesota. Seattle played at Charlotte and won by 2, 98-96. It was Utah, an 86-81 winner at Detroit. The Jazz now 7-2 to start the season. Vancouver has lost 6 straight games, and they're losing tonight at home to the Lakers. Vancouver, of course, will be here to take on the Knicks Sunday night. Our start time for the pregame show, 7:30 on MSG. And 2 others, Los Angeles Clippers, very surprising this year. They've won 4 straight. They're 5-3, but they're trailing at home against the Dallas Mavericks, who are a surprise themselves, playing very well in the season. And how about Sacramento? Speaking of surprises, 6-2, leading the Pacific Division, and they're leading the powerful Phoenix Suns tonight, 45-43 in the second quarter out west. Replacement officials, of course, continuing to work NBA games with indications that the regular referees will reject the league's latest contract offer. The NBA still says it's going to go to 3 officials come December, even with the new CBA season underway as of tonight. No truth to the rumors you may have heard that the NBA will be placing ads for referees in the Sunday New York Times classified section. The college basketball preseason NIT tonight, Georgia Tech defeated Oklahoma 83-72, so that means that Stephon Marbury will now be coming back to New York for the NIT semifinals, as Tech will play the winner of tomorrow afternoon's game between Georgetown and Temple. The other semifinal matchup on Wednesday night here at the Garden will find Arizona taking on Michigan as the Wild.
From the field, you see the 4 of 7 from three-point land. Don Nelson moments ago talked with the media about tonight's win. Let's take a listen in.
Okay, if we could do the beat writers first, please. You got all these guys on terrible deadlines. New York. It's just
It's terrible, isn't it?
You guys have anything? My statement. Terrific road win for us. Back-to-backs can be difficult. Coming into Denver, you know, with the altitude and everything, more difficult. I thought we did run low on energy a few times. We hung in there and so we scratched the win out somehow. We nursed a good lead and just played very smart down the stretch. Got some really good play out of my bench. I really needed it tonight. And first of all, I'd like to talk about Doug Christie, who didn't get much of a chance and then got a chance to play today and did a great job. That's the kind of play I need out of him. And Charles Smith came through and was a big factor in the first half. And Hubert, all 3 of them, you know, were very active. Even though they didn't play very many minutes, they were very productive. So that's the kind of thing you need on back-to-back days. It was a very successful road trip for us, and it's be good to be home. Any question?
Can you talk about the threes? They were just amazing tonight.
3-point shots, something that we practice a lot. We think we're pretty good at. And when they're there, why, you get 1/2 more points when you make one. That's a lot. So we encourage our guys to shoot them. And, of course, when you make them, everybody looks good.
Starks not only made a couple of big threes, but he also found Ewing on the dribble penetration pass there. That's what you're looking for him to do also?
Yeah, I want John to be a very versatile player, not single-minded. A good blend to his game, driving, shooting threes, finding people. You know, his assist-turnover ratio is very good, and he has that ability. If he just doesn't get single-minded when he's driving and think shot, he's a very creative player, and I think he proved that on that last play tonight.
Should pretty much just leave it up to Derek to handle Abdul Rauf?
Yeah, we didn't want him to use the screen and roll. I think you noticed that all night, so we double-teamed him, took the ball out of his hands, and made somebody else do something with it. We knew that he was the hottest player in the league, and we wanted to shut him down on that particular play. And Harp did a great job, single coverage, and stayed down on him and made it difficult for him.
You talk about the Patrick Dikembe matchup tonight?
Well, Patrick, I think, was showing the wear of a back-to-back game, but, you know, he made the big basket again for us, and it's always a great matchup to see. I enjoyed watching it.
You said earlier that this team was going to get better. You see that? It looks like it anyway, just coming back the second night.
I think, you know, you better talk 40 games or so, you know, not game to game. but we did do some things better tonight. We ran our open a lot better and found people, and we were in the areas where we were supposed to be. Next game, Johnny. Thank you.
Ricky Williams almost single-handedly brought him back there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he was tough for us. We had matchup problems with him all night, and then he was really making his shots. I can't think of missing very many. Probably only missed 2 or 3 all night.
When you come in as a new coach, are you trying to? Do you feel like they bought into the new system? Now it looks like they're selflessly giving up the ball.
Yeah, I'm not telling you that everything is well oiled yet, but I think that the overall philosophy they've picked up, and they're moving the ball, passing the ball. I think they understand that I coach the score a lot, not who needs to be in the game. And when there's a certain group that is doing well, unless there's a fatigue factor, I'll probably go with that until they run out of gas or they don't play as productively. And it seems to be working, and we're getting balanced scoring, sharing the ball. Couldn't ask for more at this point.
Do you think these guys ever worry too much about, tonight they get up big and then you have to hold on at the end, and you've had to do that a couple times. Is that something not to worry about too much?
It's the nature of the game more than it is anything we're doing or not doing. Like I said last time when we had a big lead against Utah, that's the hardest game to coach. You want to make sure you're smart. You don't want to shoot too early, but yet you don't want to take the rhythm away from your players. And I felt we were better tonight doing that than we were against Utah. We did have a rhythm, even though I thought we quick shot maybe a couple times too early. We had a pretty good feel for what we wanted to do.
Well, a well-pleased Don Nelson for the second consecutive night. We heard Don say how happy he is with, as he put it, the blend that he's getting from John Starks. Currently looking at the assist total, 6 for Starks, along with the 18 points. Curtis Butt of the New York Daily News back from the Knicks locker room. We'll chat with him when we come back.
Catch all the high-flying, hard-hitting action of Big East, Big Ten, and Pac-10 Conference College Football. Saturday, right here on MSG.
You've got to see it to believe it. The Men's Apparel Liquidation Center in Farmingdale. A better way to buy better menswear. Aisle after aisle, one great name after another at prices you won't believe. We sell only...
We came to my house, measured, custom made, and installed. One solid.
Oscar De La Hoya as the Golden Boy battles quick-punching Jesse James Leha. And junior lightweight champion Tracy Patterson defends his title against tough Arturo Gotti. Brooklyn's undefeated heavyweight Shannon Briggs takes on Mitch Blood Green. Also on the card is Eric Butterbean and former Giant safety Adrian White. It all happens Friday, December 15th at Madison Square Garden. Tickets on sale now at the Garden Box Office and all Ticketmaster locations. The Bud Dunk of the Game is brought to you by Beechwood Aged Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
Time now for the Bud Dunk of the Game. Gary Grant handling that ball. A new target for him inside. Doug Christie around Mutombo, and that was the Bud Dunk of the Game. And with me now is Curtis Bunn. Curtis, you were in the locker room moments ago and talking about Doug Christie. A nice segue to the subject of Christie. He must be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, he was, and I felt good for him also, because here's a guy who came into the year thinking that he would vie for John Starks' starting off-guard position. And Don Nelson really had some problems with his game, said that he needed to play much more under control. But the fact that they had a back-to-back game tonight, the high altitude here, Nelson needed him, and he performed, and he felt really good about the idea of playing in significant minutes during a key part of the game. And when he made that move and dunked it, he pointed to the bench because those guys were cheering for him, and he said that really made him feel good because that's the kind of support that he lends them.
We noticed in the post-press conference that Don Nelson pointing out how happy he was for Christie's performance, and it's an indication also of how Don Nelson doesn't forget about people. He did not bury Doug Christie, did he?
No, he didn't, but I think 2 days ago, Don Nelson said he was only playing 8 guys, and he said he was playing the best players available at that time. The circumstances tonight called for Christie to be out there, called for Gary Grant to probably play extended minutes, and those guys performed. In the first half, Charles Smith, Hubert Davis, and Doug Christie came off the bench and really propelled the Knicks to big things.
Curtis, what did you think about the emotion and the feeling for John Starks' performance tonight in the locker room?
Well, Starks was happy for himself, and of course, Ewing was the beneficiary. When Starks wasn't hitting the shots himself, he was making plays, and that's the kind of thing that he talked about. He said he wanted to be more aggressive this year, but not just to create for himself, to create for others. And when Denver made his run, he got into the lane, drew some attention, and then he passed it over to Ewing for the basket.
That was a remarkable shot, wasn't it?
Yeah, he said there on that three that he was really just trying to get the ball up there because the shot clock was going down, and it went in. He said it felt good when it left his hands.
Curtis, the feeling for Don Nelson as the coach now, the Knicks now the only team in the league to have 5 road wins, a terrific start to the year. What are you sensing from mingling with the players in the locker room about the feeling for the coach?
I think everybody's happy. John Starks said, you know, the game is a lot more fun for people who the game wasn't fun for last year or in the previous years because everybody's able to play. Well, most people are playing, but the other thing is that when they're playing, they're not just out there. They're getting an opportunity. Mason is handling the ball a great deal. Starks is still getting his shots. Ewing is getting his share, but not as many as before. But Oakley has free reign to take the three. Harper has been given the green light to shoot whenever he wants. And guys are happy about that. And Smith coming off the bench, a move that I really questioned because I didn't know how it would affect him mentally. Smith coming off the bench has been a big plus because he's out there usually without Ewing, and he has the green light also to be creative offensively. Last night in Oakland, he shot 12 times in 22 minutes. So these guys are all having fun. They're enjoying things.
Curtis, you sound like a coach. Thanks for the report.
My pleasure.
Let's go back now to Marv Albert.
All right, John. Curtis Fun of the New York Daily News sharing his thoughts after visiting the Knicks locker room. We'll check out the individual scoring totals. Patrick Ewing, high man for the Knicks with 20, also had 5 assists. He shot 8 of 18 from the field. We've talked about the all-around performance of John Starks. Charles Oakley, 13 points, 11 rebounds. Gary Grant off the bench, 27 minutes, 4 of 5 from the field, 11 points and 6 assists. And a strong game off the bench for Hubert Davis, 11 points in his 11 minutes. Denver led back in the second half by Reggie Williams, who turned it around. 11 of 14 overall for 27 points, 19 for Stith, Ellis 17, Mutombo with 12 points, and Abdul Rauf out of the offense, only 8 points as he was off in his shooting 2 of 12 from the field in his 30 minutes. So the Knicks have beaten the Nuggets 103-94. Back with more in just a moment.
Guests received the American Express gift
after a successful 3-city visit. We meet the newest members of the NBA family. They're from north of the border. Mike and Bob Show, their return, and they go 1-1 on NBA expansion. It's all next on the MCS Cannon Knicks game night, where 3.5 hours ago they finished the WTA Tour Championships here at the Garden, putting the Garden staff on overtime, working hard to put it together for an NBA basketball game tonight, and they have done it. Hi, everybody. Mike Crispino here for Knicks game night. Al Troutwig will be along with John Andres to call the game tonight, and we have our first look at one of the new expansion teams. The Vancouver Grizzlies are here in town. They are one of the 2 expansions, as I mentioned. Of course, Toronto Raptors the other. They come in with a record of 2-7. The Knicks at 7-2 will be without one of their main cogs tonight. Charles Smith has been suffering with a strained groin over the past few games, so he'll sit this one out. Smith will miss this game and perhaps another one before returning, and that will mean more time, of course, for probably Hubert Davis if the Knicks go with a shorter lineup, and maybe even more minutes for Herb Williams. Now, let's get to the Road Warriors. They won 2 of their 3 on the road. The Knicks have the best road record in the NBA. They have won 5 games. No other NBA team has done that. It began on a sour note, however, in Portland. Anthony Mason grimacing, as he often does when things aren't going his way. Watching Cliff Robinson bang a long 3 home for an 81-80 lead for the Portland Trail Blazers. They never recovered from that. Rod Strickland, the former Knick, doing the penetrating thing and then dishing to Robinson here. Robinson had 26. Strickland had 26, I should say. Robinson 36, and a 105-99 Portland victory. It was on to Golden State on Thursday. Nelly in a much more familiar confines where he spent 8 years at the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, and with some of his former players, Latrell Sprewell, and the Knicks, of course, mouthing and talking trash with Tim Hardaway. Hardaway looking to put on a show for his former coach. It was a night for Derek Harper, the steal, feeding Ewing. Harper had 22 points, all coming in the second half, and they presented Don Nelson with a victory, a 23-point win in his Golden State return. Harper was sensational, inside and outside, abusing Latrell Sprewell. Beautiful reverse layup there for the 120-97 final.
Everybody feels it a little bit when you come back. But I appreciate the warm response from the fans. That was very nice. And, you know, someday I keep telling people I'll be a season ticket holder here when I retire. And because my wife and I want to come back to this area. And hopefully I can get a couple of good seats in.
Then on Friday, it was off to Denver. Both coaches upset with the officiating in the game. John Starks threw up a prayer, a 3 there, and the Knicks had an 86-77 lead. Starks had 18 on the night. Then Ewing, great pass inside to Oakley. Oak had 18 and 11 boards. 1 minute left. Knicks running the clock out, moving it around. Mason hits the hook. Nelson's 5th road win in 6 games, a 103-90.